I thought I'd do a quick update on my aquaponics system. This is almost 3 weeks, and I've had 3 catfish die today. They're kind of swimming a little bit close to the surface. I'm not sure if there's an oxygen problem. They seem to be bleeding close to the fins in a few places. I'm not real sure what's caused that. If it's a little bit of trauma, they tend to get a little startled and slam against the side of the tank from time to time, so I'm not real sure if that's what's causing it. Kind of see the fin on that one there. I think it may be fin rot, and they say I can add a little bit of salt to the system like you would in any aquarium when you first start it up, but fortunately I'm trying to grow strawberries, and strawberries don't like the salt in the system, so I may try and add just a little and see if it causes my strawberries any problems or not. But got 2 indoor grow beds here that I just use for starting seeds and kind of playing around. I've got a aphid problem, which you can't really see very well. It's primarily on the tomatoes, but they're also on the peppers, kind of on the center there. I don't know that you can see it, but somebody told me, or I found on the internet, that you can make what they call worm tea. So I've got this air bubbler going in this tank. It's been going for almost 24 hours now, but I've got some fresh worm castings from our worm bin. You add a tablespoon of just normal table sugar and let it aerate for 24 hours or so, and the bacteria that grows in there will actually kill the aphids, and if it doesn't kill them, it'll drive them away. So I'm going to give that a try and see if it takes care of it. They've been leaving real tiny, eggs on the stems, which I can't get this to focus to tell you. The white powder there is diatomaceous earth, which is supposed to help with some other insects. So started some carrots, threw the seeds in. It took a couple of weeks for them to really sprout good, but they're coming up. I'll have to thin those out and rearrange them a little bit. I moved the majority of the plants outside. I've got 5 fish down in this tank. They're kind of down at the bottom at the moment. I may put tilapia in this tank, and I've got the catfish over here in this tank. That tank goes to this tank, which I've just been using kind of as a sump. I cleaned this yesterday, and you can see how many solids have kind of come out of this tube and settled in this tank. Then it overflows out the side, goes out the side of the building. I can go out here. You can see I've got a sump down there with a pump. That pump comes up and over to the side of the building, comes up right here and feeds these tanks. This aeration pipe I had turned off just so you could see the fish. Turn that back on. You can see that kind of gives them some extra air. And then I've got those 2 grow beds that dump into this tank, which gives them extra air in the system from time to time. But let me take you back over here. Got strawberries planted in this one. So they're starting to fruit already and ripen. Those are a loofah plant, which my wife's making fun of me for, but don't want to have to buy sponges, and I just think it's a neat plant. So got those the other day. I've got my bell siphon right there, trying to keep them covered. I planted tomatoes in these 2 beds, which seem to be doing real well. Did some popcorn, but it's not doing very well. It wasn't looking too good when I bought them, so I'm hoping they'll recover. Got peppers in this one, which is doing real well. I think that's some basil and bell pepper. But you can see my pipe here. This is gravity out of the garage. Comes out right there. That's an 1.5-inch pipe. Just comes over, and then I've got a shutoff valve which is reduced to 1/2-inch pipe. Flowing right there. I've got the sponge to kind of catch any solids, and I can clean those from time to time. But that's just gravity fed over down to the end. And I may go ahead and put 2 or 3 more grow beds on this. I haven't quite decided, but in the meantime I've got it coming over here, and this pipe right here is adjustable. You can tilt it up and down, and that kind of affects the water flow on these other 4 drains, but whenever the inside tanks start flushing, there's so much water that comes through, it needs to be able to overflow, and that comes through here, just dumps right back in to this sump. So this is a siphon that I put together that jumps from one tank to the other just to keep the water level the same. And I think this one's draining right now. Let's see if I can get under there where you can see it. It does that about every 15 minutes or so. It fills up and then drains. Just going to use some leftover cattle gate and kind of experimenting with spray painting them. You can see some green algae kind of forming on the outside of this one, or on the inside of this one rather. So I'm kind of experimenting, trying to decide if I should paint those. I haven't got my greenhouse completed yet. This one I painted white yesterday, and I'm wondering if that's what caused my fish death, because I did have a little bit of overspray going in the water. I should have covered it, but it's so windy today I decided I better not do any kind of painting at all, and I'll get it covered tomorrow. But got a load of gravel delivered today. I need to raise this up. My greenhouse was about 17 inches off level down the end. I've got a pretty good slope back here. So once I get my sideboard up, my rest of my gravel in, then we'll be ready to put the plastic up on the greenhouse. But I think that's all I've got for now. Just thought I'd give you an update and let you know what was going on. Appreciate you watching my videos.